بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما بعد، وعن أبي عبد الرحمن عبد الله بن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنهما قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: انطلق ثلاثة رهط ممن كان قبلكم حتى أووا المبيت إلى غار فدخلوه فانحدرت صخرة من الجبل فسدت عليهم الغار، فقالوا: إنه لا ينجيكم من هذه الصخرة إلا أن تدعوا الله بصالح أعمالكم. فقال رجل منهم: اللهم كان لي أبوان شيخان كبيران وكنت لا أغبق قبلهما أهلا ولا مالا، فنأى بي طلب الشجر يوما فلم أريح عليهما حتى نام، فحلبت له غبوقهما فوجدتهما نائمين وكرهت أن أغبق قبلهما أهلا ومالا، فلبثت والقده على يدي أنتظر استيقاظهما حتى برق الفجر والصبية يتراغون عند قدمي، فاستيقظا فشربا فغبوقهما: اللهم إن كنت فعلت ذلك ابتغاء وجهك ففرج عنا ما نحن فيه من هذه الصخرة، فانفرجت شيئا حتى لا يستطيعون الخروج منه. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. وقال الآخر: اللهم كانت لي بنت عم كانت أحب الناس إلي وفي رواية أو أحب الناس إلي وفي رواية كنت أحبها كأشد ما يحب الرجال النساء، فأردتها على نفسها فامتنعت مني حتى ألمت بها سنة من السنين، فجاءتني فأعطيتها 20 و200 دينار على أن تخلي بيني وبين نفسها، ففعلت حتى إذا قدرت عليها. وفي رواية فلما قعدت بين رجليها قالت: اتق الله ولا تفض الخاتم إلا بحقه، فانصرفت عنها وهي أحب الناس إلي وتركت الذهب الذي أعطيتها. اللهم إن كنت فعلت ذلك ابتغاء وجهك فافرج عنا ما نحن فيه، فانفجرت الصخرة غير أنهم لا يستطيعون الخروج منها، إلى آخر الحديث. وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام: اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما. In the long hadith, in the last hadith of the chapter of Ikhlas in Riyadh al-Salihin, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam narrates the story of three individuals who were trapped into the cave. The second individual made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I had a cousin sister, and this cousin sister I had a lot of love and muhabbat for, and I used to look for opportunities where I could express my love. A time came where she was in need. She came to me for help, and I agreed on the condition that she allows me to fulfill my desires. And when the day did come, the time came where she did give me the chance and opportunity for me to fulfill my desires and express my love to her. At that moment, she reminded me of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She said to me that fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By saying this name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by reminding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I refrain from the sin. So from the dua of the second individual, we explained and we learned the quality of taqwa, being God consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We mentioned the benefits and the fawaid and the ways of how we can bring this taqwa into our life. Another point that we can highlight from the dua of the second individual is what we say, being chaste, being pure, being clean, and pakdamni. With this, we have another quality that links with this, which we call haya. So if a being, male or female, has haya, they will also be chaste and pure. So if a person is chaste and pure, they've got chastity, they will also have haya in them. So they come together. Ibn Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi, in his kitab Mudrak al-Salikin, he has mentioned that haya is of two types. Haya is of two types. Being modest comes in two categories. One is known as hayat imani, and the second one is hayat fitri. Hayat imani is, in other words, haya'un min Allah. Haya'un min Allah, when a person is modest and he has the quality of haya from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this quality a person can only achieve through faith and through iman. If a person has iman, he will have many qualities. And one of the qualities that he will have is haya. Now this haya'un min Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also divides into 10 categories. He splits into 10 different categories. One of them is Hayatul Jinaya. Hayatul Jinaya is that a person, he has this feeling, haya feeling, being modest, being shy, after committing a sin. Jinaya means when a person commits a sin, he does an error. So when a person commits a sin, he thinks to himself that I had made an agreement with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will please Him throughout my life. Every moment of my life, I will please Him. But when a person commits a sin, when a person does something which is against the hukm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then in reality he deserves the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then he feels that why did I commit this sin? Even though I have made an agreement and contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have done tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why did I do this sin? So if a person has this feeling, this will take him towards the quality of being regretful, that he will feel regret and remorse, and then that will also help him to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again in tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when a person does commit a sin, he should think that, I have done something wrong. My Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me, He's aware of what I am doing. On the day of judgment, I will be standing in front of my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if He was to ask me a question about that time when I was doing the sin, how would I answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this is called Haya'ul Jinaya. Another type of and category of Haya'un min Allah is Hayatul Taqsir. Hayatul Taqsir is Haya of deficiency. Deficiency means, alhamdulillah, we were able to pray our Isha Salah, we prayed our Sunnats, we prayed our Nafal Salah, we prayed our Witr Salah. So we did a good deed. However, after committing the good deed, we still think that I did not do this deed 100%, according to the way it's supposed to be done. That's why after our Farz Salah, we read Istighfar 3 times. So the Istighfar is generally what comes to our mind is that I've committed a sin and do Istighfar from that. Yes, that is right. However, when a person does a good deed, he should also think that the deed that I have done wasn't according to how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted. So when we do pray the Salah and after Salah we finish the Salam and after Salam we say Astaghfirullah, we don't say Astaghfirullah that I did something wrong. No, we doing Astaghfar from that the namaz that I have just completed, it wasn't 100%. The concentration and the khushu and the khudu that was supposed to be in the Salah is missing. It's not the quality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking for. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself is advised that فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ, that towards the end of his life, when his mission was coming to a completion, he's reminded that praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue doing istighfar and seek forgiveness. Now this is again, there may be some fault somewhere, there may be something that's missing somewhere. So this is known as Haya'ut Taqsir, that after we do a good deed, we don't boast about it, we don't be proud of ourselves that I have done such a good, great thing. No, we still turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving the ability to do the good deed. We be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but at the same time we should think that, okay, the deed I did do, it wasn't 100% the way it's supposed to be done. So this is another category. And one more category is known as Haya'ul Karam. Haya'ul Karam is when a person has this in mind, that even though I am breaking the laws and the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though I am doing those acts which deserves punishments and it taking me away from Allah, but even then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is extremely generous upon me. He is providing me with everything. I wake up early, wake up in the morning healthy, a roof over my head, and health, wealth, everything is available for me, even though I am, displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the day. I am doing something wrong, I am committing a sin, or I am doing a good deed but it's not according to how it's supposed to be. But even then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showering His blessings and His barakat and His rahmat upon me. So if a person reminds himself of these few points, then a person will be able to build that quality of haya, build the quality of modesty in his life. When a person has this, then what will happen is that it will help him to stay away from sins as well. Because a believer will do all his best to stay away from sin. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that la yazni zani hina yazni wa huwa mu'min. That a person who's committing adultery, he's doing zina. At the time of committing the zina, what we can explain is that the iman of that person, it comes out of his body. It hovers above his head whilst he's involved in that sin. So whilst he's involved in that sin, his iman is taken away from him. So this is what he's saying, that the hadith is saying that a believer will not commit adultery. So whilst a person is committing adultery, that means in one way you can say that he doesn't have iman inside himself. That's why that he's committing that sin. وَلَا يَشْرَبُ الْخَمْرَ حِينَ يَشْرَبُ وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ. A person, a believer, he cannot be a believer whilst he's consuming and drinking alcohol. So if a believer is drinking alcohol, Allah protect and forbid, at that time the iman is taken away from him. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam then he says that وَلَا يَسْرِقُ حِينَ يَسْرِقُ وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ. A person, a believer, he will not steal. He won't steal from anyone. He won't become a thief. Why? Because if a person did have iman, this should have kept him away from the sin of stealing. But if a believer is stealing, then at that time iman hovers. It comes out of him whilst he's committing that sin. Once a person stops the sin and he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then iman comes back into his life. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in the hadith that istahyu min Allahi haqq al-haya. That be modest from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be ashamed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be shy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way he's supposed to be. So the Sahaba replied to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we are modest, we do have haya inside our lives. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam then he replied that ليس ذلك ولكن الاستحياء من الله حق الحياء وأن تحفظ الرأس وما وعى. That what you thinking of what modesty is, that the explanation of this, of being modest from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that أن تحفظ الرأس وما وعى. That you protect your brain, you protect your head and what it runs through it. So you protect your mind, you protect your thoughts. Intentionally don't bring thoughts of sins in your mind. Don't make plans. So protect your thoughts, protect what's inside your head. Then this will also help you to become haya from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْبَطَنَ وَمَا حَوَى. Protect the stomach and what fills the stomach. Protect the stomach and what fills the stomach. Now this could also mean that what we eat, what we consume should be according to our, the rulings and the shariat, that it should be halal, no doubtful thing. Like this, when we are, filling our stomachs with garbage, talking away, backbiting, all of these things, we should be also protecting our stomachs from this as well. We shouldn't just fit in whatever we want and take in whatever we want. Then the hadith says, وَلْتَذْكُرُ الْمَوْتُ وَمَا بِلَا. And also remember death and also the trials and the difficulties that you will go through. Remember those. وَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْآخِرَةَ تَرَكَ زِينَةَ الدُّنْيَا. A person who wants the akhirat and who is looking forward for the akhirat, what will he do? He will abandon the glitter of this world, all this flashiness of this world. He will leave them. He will be satisfied what he has in his life. He will be happy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed for him. فَمَنْ فَعَلَ ذَلِكَ فَقَدْ اسْتَحْيَا مِنَ اللَّهِ حَقَّ الْحَيَاءِ. If a person has these few points inside his life, then this will help him to be modest from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be shy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One more hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that al-haya wal-iman qurina jami'an فَإِذَا رُفِعَ أَحَدُهُمَا رُفِعَ الْآخَرِ. Haya and iman are combined together. They come together. The lazim and malzoom, they have to be together. Meaning, if a person has iman inside himself, then he will have haya. If a person has haya, that means he will have iman inside himself. If haya is missing, that means there's something doubtful on his iman. The haya is missing, then there's weakness inside his iman. So we need to work on our iman, and inshallah this also will to bring our haya inside a person's life. If a person works on the haya, then this also will help him to build in his iman and also will help him to strengthen his iman. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi alayhi, he said that فَإِنَّ الْمَانِعَ مِنْ فِعْلِ الْقَبَائِحِ وَهُوَ الْحَيَاءُ. There's something that will stop the person, will prevent a person from committing wrong, from evil sins is haya. If a person has this quality, then we will help him to protect himself from fahsha, from munkar, from evil, from sins. But then if a person does not have a haya, then he will be, eaten up with all evil. He will be so engrossed into evil and he will be so into it that he will not even realize that I am doing something wrong. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the understanding. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to build this quality that we are shy, we are shameful, we are modest, and we have this quality of haya. And the first category, as we mentioned, that Imam Qayyim Ibn Qayyim rahmatullahi said that there's two categories. One is haya fitri and haya imani. Haya imani is what a person will gain through iman, and that divides into 10 categories. Haya ul jinaya, then we had haya ul taqsir and haya ul karam. And if a person has these qualities, then inshallah he'll be able to be modest in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the quality of haya. Allahumma ameen. Subhanallah bihamdi. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة ما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين. جزاكم الله.